Like I'm actually liking the whole this thing. Like actually. Like,
the Switch.
Yeah, the Switch. I'm definitely liking like snap on. And I love the noise that it makes.
Do you feel like more things are gonna get to that point? I think you're just.
No, but seriously.
You just like that? Is that so? You spent $150?
No, this was actually like $380.
Jeez.
That was
because it's advertised as its own console.
This was so right. for the system it was like $299, and then for that it was like another like $16, and then the screen protector was like another like. Screen protector was like another $16, and then tax and then the warranty, so it was like $380.
So you got
and then I had
Friday.
to get it. It was Black Friday, so they gave me a $50 gift card with it, and then that was how I bought Xenoblade.
Where'd you buy it?
GameStop. But it was only for that day. Ironically, I started reading that day.
Oh no, I did too. What's really funny is apparently we might have saw. You know who Suzy is? He's a YouTube guy. He does.
Oh yeah.
So what's funny is we have a friend who was in band as well. His cousin's with him, and so like I remember watching one video of him go to Universal. I'm like, is that Omari? What? And so like what's funny is Omari's dad came out, said hi, and then Brandon's like, I'm pretty sure that's Suzy in the car right there, but I don't want to say anything. And I'm like, and then I told him the Kevin Smith story, and he's like, oh wow, really? Man, yeah, Claremont will get like a handful of people who will occasionally show up, which is very interesting.
Oh, apparently he went back to Lucky's.
Oh yeah, because his mom's like in the hospital.
Yeah, no one. His mom. I don't think his mom's in the hospital. Oh no, yeah, the surgery thing. I saw that on post on Facebook. Well, he's a very They said it turns out he's like a very big vegan. You know, it turns out like he's a very big vegan kind of dude.
Yeah, because he had a heart attack, and so he went vegan to help mitigate that. That's why he's lost so much weight too. Yeah.
That would explain a lot, because when I saw him, I was like,
he still has his big clothes, but he's just a skinny dude.
Right. It's funny. All right. That being said,
welcome. No, you started the intro for the first one. Come
on. Welcome to the Blue Eclipse podcast. I'm Darius Crosley.
I'm Frank Joseph Hall.
And as you see, our good friend Tyler is not here today, but that is A-okay.
Yeah. No. Maybe next week, Tyler can be here and you won't be. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way, starting a YouTube channel when all of us technically we don't have full-time jobs,
but
we work full-time hours. Right. It's tough to get everybody in the room at the same time.
Right. We're workaholics.
So anyway, you want to talk about the topic for this?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about like a really interesting topic because I feel like it's something that needs to be like talked about, especially in our culture.
Talked about enough.
I mean, but
it's on ESPN.
It is, but I think they already know where we're going about this. But we're going to talk about esports today.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I feel like.
Do you watch esports?
I do. Every now, I will say this. I watch it very lightly. I don't I used to follow like a cult following, especially when I played League a lot. I used to do like his cult following and stuff like that.
Which team?
It was I'm a SKT1. I
don't know what that means.
SKT fan 1.
You know what's funny is I worked in a warehouse for a little bit.
It's a Korean team.
Okay, I worked in a warehouse for a little bit, and we had, like we were shipping out like merchandise. Mm-hmm. We had Team Solo Mid and Cloud9 and like a few other.
Team Fnatic probably.
No. No. But we had a few of their merchandise, and we would ship it out. And I'm like, oh yeah. This stuff.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's slowly gaining. It's gaining headway. It's It's starting to come off the ground a lot more so than it has been over the years. I think I want to say esports made its like biggest like highlight when people actually started seeing this as like when people actually start seeing this as a thing, like, oh, this is starting to become a thing, is like right around my first year of college, so maybe about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And it was right when League of Legends Worlds had happened. It was like, I think it was like finals maybe. And they had definitely over like 1 million viewers on the live stream.
Wow.
And
now it's being not like, but it's on ESPN, right?
It's gotten big enough so. And I remember last year, actually, ironically, I don't think it was last year. Was it last year? It was either last year or the year before, but they also televised the finals of EVO Street Fighter
Right.
specifically on ESPN for the first time,
Oh,
and
really?
that got a lot of good reception as well.
So, let's explain esports. It's like electronic sports.
Yeah.
Specifically, it's professional, competitive video
It's
gaming.
professional video gaming, and they've taken this like to a very serious deal. Like I don't think it's sponsorships. Like a lot of people are investing in this.
There are teams and then individual players, and like there will be players who switch back and forth between teams.
Yeah.
It's just like other sports. There are specific genres.
Right.
I would even argue it's more just specific games.
Right.
So like obviously League of Legends is a huge one.
And they've gone with specific genres of games, like actual competitive games. So fighting
Overwatch
games,
has become a big one too.
Team-based shooters, shooters in general, MOBAs. I would have to say, out of all of these though, I feel like MOBA.
That's the one that started it for sure.
While some
MOBA, well, again, we're explaining this just for everybody.
yeah.
MOBA stands for Multiplayer Online Arena Battle.
Battle Arena or whatever.
The Battle Arena, yeah, I think that's what it is. It's usually like your team versus another team. You're fighting. There's these minions. You're leveling up
Right.
as the game goes on, and you're trying to push. You're basically it's a tug of war in a sense, and you're trying to push all the way to the enemy spot. That's basically what it is.
In English. One of the biggest things though, I feel like, because the thing about it is that MOBAs did not necessarily create the competitive scene, but they definitely are the ones that made it mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
They are the ones that actually like flagship this and took straight off kind of deal. With especially League and Dota are the ones, and League and Dota have been like at each other's throats about who's better than who for like years now. And I think League finally took over when they finally had that $1 million pool, like that $1 million pool,
Mm-hmm.
and with on top of that with the 1 million viewers, and then SKT1 getting their second win in a row, which was like the first time in League history, in world's kind of aspect. They definitely flagshipped this and took it off, and then from there people just started realizing like, oh holy crap, there were like people actually take like.
Yeah,
like gamers actually take this.
They take it seriously, yeah.
We take it seriously.
Oh, there's
and I could say at one, and there's a lot of money to be made, and I could say at one, and me personally, I could say at one point that I took it to that same seriousness level too. Like I boast a lot that no one can beat me in a fighting game. Now I know there are people that can beat me in a fighting game, but at least in like my circle of friends and my family and stuff like that, no one can beat me. So I always hold that title for myself. Like no one can beat me in a fighting game.
We'll find someone. We'll find someone.
All right. That being said, now there are a lot of teams.
So let me ask you before we get into this. For esports, are you the kind of person who would just watch like football just for fun?
Like, do I watch like actual like live
Yes.
television football? I am not. I do watch sports.
Yeah, you watch basketball,
I do watch
right?
sport. I am a big basketball fan.
You would
Like,
say basketball is your favorite sport because you like the way they dribble up and down the court. Sorry.
Yes, basketball is one of my favorite sports I like to watch. It's one of the most fun things for me to watch, especially the level of skill that they play at. I love it, the intensity, the way.
Okay. You didn't play in it.
I never played basketball. I've never played basketball.
But you like watching it.
I like watching
Okay.
basketball. I'm one of those rare breed of people who actually suck at basketball, but love the sport a lot.
Yeah, that's because like to me it makes sense if you've played the sport that
Mhm.
you'd be invested. But like for me, I was in band in high school.
Yeah.
So like I was forced to watch football. I understand how the sport works, and if I need to, I can pretend that I'm excited.
Right.
But like, I was never invested in it.
Now, do you watch the Super Bowl?
I watch the Super Bowl, but I go because
You
of
watch
the
it
the social aspect. Like,
Yeah.
there is memes to be had at a Super Bowl.
Oh yes, memes at a Super Bowl.
The halftime show is my moment. Is when I'm like, everyone shut up. I'm gonna make fun of this. Justin Timberlake comes out in like his so stupid coat, and I'm like, this is amazing.
I still feel like Kendrick Lamar should have did it. Kendrick Lamar would have did so much better.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's Maroon 5 this year. Oh, I'm gonna make fun of that. Hardcore. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
You dare? You dare?
So, I like it. I've watched it. I don't know. I think it's the fact that, like, I'm not emotionally invested in it. And it's not the fact that, like, I wasn't raised... My parents both love football. My mom was raised by a coach, so she loves football. My dad also loves football.
Right.
I remember when I was little and we had, like, season tickets to, like, the Marlins, to the Dolphins, to, like, the Heat, to even the Panthers. We got tickets to all... Yeah, I saw every sporting event when I was, like, super little. And, like...
The Panthers, though?
Yeah, the hockey team.
Oh! I thought you meant like
not
North
the
Carolina.
Jets.
I thought you meant like the North Carolina Panthers. I'm like, I'm driving all the way up.
Oh yeah, and I also understand enough. I usually joke around that I don't know what sports is, but that's more to make fun of people. Like that's more to just be like, oh yeah, how you get points by shooting the hoop through the goalposts, right? And that's 7 points.
And it just hearing him say that makes you cringe.
I just do that as a joke. But no, I don't know what it. I think with like if I'm gonna watch someone do that stuff, I'd rather just do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's the same with esports, and like I'm finding even more now. Like I watch Dungeons and Dragons streams, but even more now, I'm like, I mean, that's cool that I'm watching someone else do it, but I'd rather just be playing. And I think that might be why a lot of people like sports is because they've gotten to a point in their life where they physically can't. You physically can't get tackled
anymore.
So I think that's probably why it also appeals to gamers is not for the necessarily lack of physical the ability that they can. It might be that they want to get to that point in their life, or that like it's cool to see someone who has that kind of skill.
Yeah, and I was gonna also say that I like even though fighting games are my favorite type of games, I love watching Evo. I love the fact that now I can watch Evo live on streams and stuff like that now.
What it's going
yeah, and it's just the level of play that they play at. It just it's one of those things where it's just like you're watching like a gap and you're just like, you know.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that we're getting to the point where like. I think the internet is obviously the reason stuff like this takes off. Because you can start off with just the small group of people who are interested in it, and then if it keeps gaining a following, then it becomes larger.
No, I saw this picture and it was a picture from League. It was like season 1 was just like this little office room of like
and now
from the world, and then season 2 was a little bit bigger. And season 3 was like a conference hall. Season 4 was still a conference hall, and then season 5 and 6 it was just these giant arenas with people
and filled
in them and stuff like that.
That's what happens for sure. I mean, like I had to take a class in college that was the history of sports.
Right.
Not even kidding. I took that class. It was actually interesting. Got an A in it. I know. It made me interested in the history of sports, but not watching them. Stuff like that. So like football was started not necessarily as an entertainment thing. It was started to make youth, to help educate youth, to make them more invested and like instead of basically it was like you might go out and do drugs here, play football instead. That's basically what it was. And so like it starts from that point, and it's interesting to see that it goes from that to you sold out an arena because it's the Super Bowl and literally the entire country is watching this right now, and you paid millions of dollars for 30 seconds of an ad, to the point where ads are now its own event.
Yeah, and I will have to say that the reason I had and I was really like the biggest time I was like invested in esports was like when I was in high school and it really had just started taking off. And the thing about it is that the reason there was like a point in time where I was just super invested in like esports and stuff like that, and I can tell you all about like League of Legends like players and stuff like that, and like their stats and stuff, and that was because at one point and another I felt like in terms of like this was like during that time I will call it the Cavs and Warriors saga, the beginning of the Cavs and Warriors saga, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
basketball.
Yeah.
So it was during that time period. I would have to say not their first time. How many times did they did that? 4 times? I think?
Sure, you're asking the wrong guy. I know who those are. I understand that there was a rivalry and that LeBron James was somewhere in there. Sorry.
Peasants. No, but there was a time period where the Warriors and the Cavaliers were going to the finals and playing each other back to back, and basketball at that point just got like really very stale and boring. So
because it's like it's predictable. Yeah.
Right. There was no fun to be had anymore. So that's
why a lot of people don't like the Patriots or stuff like that, is because they win too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's not. It just doesn't feel like it's competitive anymore. So that's why I started watching. Started watching gaming and stuff like that, because you had these there was these teams, but it was just like it was so amazing. Mm-hmm. And then I actually remember one year. I think this might have been like the last year I was paying attention to it, but there was this time. Then this is how you can tell there's a skill gap between other countries in terms of games. Like I always make the joke. I think you've already made this joke, but I want to be a Korean. Koreans are Koreans are the highest out of all the countries. In my personal opinion, Koreans are between Koreans and Japanese.
Oh yeah,
they're the highest level playing.
Yeah, I think it has to do with their culture and the fact that it's like once you commit to something, that is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And if you're not the best at it, you will just like that sucks, and you have disgraced your family, kind of a thing. Like that's ultimately what it's like. Though, like because we've had internationals at USF, where like you could tell that was how it was. It's like, yes, I'm going overseas for my education. I'm like, wow.
Right.
Jeez.
Yeah. And it's like, and for that, and you could tell like they did this, League of Legends did this All-Stars thing where it was like the Americans, the Koreans, the Japanese versus the rest of the countries.
So Magic, it's not an e-sport, but it's along the same line. Magic the Gathering, the card game. Like it's done stuff like that where it's like you have a Grand Prix, and then you have a winner of that, but then you get Pro Tours, which are like the bigger things, and then you get the World.
Right.
Where it's like you qualify for your country, and then you fight in that. Yeah, that stuff is like I think it's the fact that that's all taking off because the people are now understanding how to market to an internet and how to make money off of that.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I think they're being smart about it, because some companies will try to make money off of the internet and not realize how to do that properly. They'll be like, oh, we're investing in this YouTube channel, that'll make us millions, not realizing if you're only investing in YouTube, that's not going to make you money.
Right.
So, no, I'm not surprised that, like, esports is a big thing. I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I think it's the fact that I'm not the one interacting with it.
Right.
I think that's my biggest problem with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and like it's definitely like I said, the high point it took off was like probably right after I finished right when I graduated 2015, 2016. That was its peak, and now it's not
plateaued.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because they're still drawing in. They're still drawing in plenty of money.
Well, I was saying now it's getting to the point where it is like a genuine sport, like I said before, where like people will switch teams.
Right.
To wait, like I remember talking with my friend who was like a huge Team Solo Mid fan, and I was like, oh, I know. I gotta remember one of their names. I forgot.
I forgot their names either. The only name I can remember.
Those people, and he's like, well, one of them just signed on, left the team, and signed on to another. I'm like, we have all this merchandise, and like, how? I hope people are gonna like. Well, I think what they ended up doing was like these random boxes. Which, if any of you are watching, got one of those random boxes, I might have packed one of those. Fun fact. It was literally like you paid $15 and you got a bunch of random stuff, and it was our subtle way of and it was like the subtle way of us being like, crap, I gotta get rid of some of this stuff that's not selling. Yeah, fun fact. So it was like, cool, we got rid of all these shits.
Gotcha.
But like there's money to be had for sure. And I think there's definitely entertainment value associated with it for sure. I don't know. I'm always more interested in stage performances where someone can be like a character or like obviously like big presence. With video games, like, and I put my own personal flair. I turn left. You know,
Right.
and I think that might be also part of it is that there's little performance involved. It's all skill based versus a thing like improv, which is like it is skill based because you should like improv is hard to do.
No, listen, I love improv.
Oh, yeah.
I should like when I like this is gonna be a personal topic, so they're not gonna know what we're talking about. But when I did improv, like some like
I didn't know you did improv.
my senior year, I did
I wanted to do improv my senior year, and I just didn't.
I did in my senior year, and like a couple of my friends were like, "Why didn't you come do this sooner?"
We need to do improv at some point.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, we'll figure it out. There's a place.
Yeah.
But
I was gonna
like
name drop people, but for personal sakes, I can't. I'm not gonna.
But like
do
with improv, it's skill based, but there's a performance aspect, and I think that's what highlights it. Is that people are there to entertain people, make them laugh, have them like that. You can obviously with sports entertain people, but I don't think that's the point. I think for the athletes, the point isn't that we're entertaining people. It's the fact that we want to win.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing. At least for me, in terms of fighting games, like I watch fighting game esports now the most.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing about it for me personally is I love seeing a good fight. Like I love seeing those fights where it's
the one in a million where it's like, oh my goodness.
and I feel like I should start watching Soul Calibur a lot. At least in terms of fighting games, because Soul Calibur 6 has turned into one of my favorite fighting games of recent date, simply because of how close
the matches get,
and you're just like on the edge of your seat, and even playing, like I still even like watching it versus playing it, I still get that feeling of like.
And I'm gonna have to censor all that. It'll just be. And time. So yeah, no, and I think and like there's I think that there is tension and there is like this build of it, and I think like it's fun and it's interesting and like come on, you're gonna get to the show, come on,
right,
yeah, like it's a build, and you either hit the peak or you don't,
right,
and that's what's interesting about it. I don't know, again, I can't get a hold of that stuff, and I'm sorry that I keep repeating myself, but like.
But no, trust me, it's definitely something like people.
I can fake it 100%. Trust me. When I was in marching band, I would have to. It's like, first down, woo! All right. I think that might actually be my problem. So I can be competitive.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know. No. Game. I'm
competitive.
I've seen you on game night.
I like to be competitive. As like I ramp it up when there's a very obviously competitive person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, got it. And then I do it just to like be like, oh, you lost, huh? Like rub their face in that.
Right.
But like I think generally I just don't care. I'm like, oh, I had fun. And so I think that might be why, because there is a pride aspect associated with like my team won, which I always find fun. It's like people talk about it, like how we talk about D&D characters. Like, yeah, we did good. I think during the third quarter we could have totally should have run this play instead. Like when you put yourself in there, but you did nothing.
Right.
So it's like where it's like, oh yeah, we fought this dragon. I'm like, well, technically your characters fought it. Sure.
Right.
Like that's what I always find funny, and but I think the aspect is that like it is super competitive, and I remember in high school marching band because that's also competitive. Fun fact. Oh my goodness.
Cheerleading is also very competitive too. So, fun fact.
I'm assuming you might have also then had like I remember one time, and I will keep names as vague as possible. But there was a rival school of ours. Tyler was there when this happened. There was a rival school of ours. And they were announcing the top 5, and the top 5's gone into the finals for state. It was beautiful. It was like, they were saying the names, they got to the final one, and they held it out, and then they said a different school's name. Like, it was like, it'd be like West Ridge and West River. It'd be like that. Where it's like, West River, and they're like just missed it, and they were pissed, and then I was like, hey, I mean, you still got 6th place, that's good. You beat 8 other people.
No,
and they're like, but their mentality is, yeah, well, we're the first losers. And I'm like, what?
No, but one of the things.
Sorry, we have an intruder.
Yeah.
I thought the defense mechanism would work. It did not.
One of the things I like about one of the things I loved about cheerleading when I did my first year cheerleading in high.
No, I enjoyed the competitive aspect of it. For
yeah,
sure.
definitely. But one of the things I liked about my year of cheerleading specifically was that the top 10.
I'm just wondering where my dog is. I'm sorry. I keep hearing the.
Right
yeah,
there.
I am so sorry if you're also hearing those, but she is.
Haley.
No, no.
Bye.
No.
Oh, never mind.
I was saying you said her name. We'll keep that in. That's fine. The internet loves dogs as much as they love cats.
Yeah, they do. Come here, girl. Come here. Yeah, come here.
All right, come on, we're gonna get back to the. Oh no! She out there from the podcast. They'll say how cute she is and yeah. She needs a haircut. She does. But I think that in that specific moment, which was a good friend of mine, she's the one who said that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that moment being like, I don't like sore losers, and I think that might be a big reason I don't like sports. Is there are a lot of sore losers, and because you get very prideful in your team, and so if they lose, you're mad.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. I was definitely getting. You were. It was during. You remember working when the finals was happening, and I was just like pushing my Celtics fandom like to like a significant point, and then when they lost, DJ just comes up to me. He's like, hey. So how about that game yesterday? I'm like, screw you.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're having friends in that aspect where it's like, oh, we're playing along, that's funny. But like some people get, oh my goodness.
Some people
are you gonna make up your mind to dog?
Nah, dog's gonna make.
We literally have a barrier, and she's just walking right through it.
Do you really call that a barrier though?
It's for sound more than anything. Hey, we're recording. Hey.
I think we should just leave this in at this point.
Oh no, I am. Yeah, we'll cut out the previous thing we cut out, but no, we're leaving the dog in.
Definitely the dog in.
No, yeah. So like, there are some sore losers in esports and sports in general.
Definitely.
And like that makes me not want. What is always funny is like I will watch sports not to watch the sports itself, but to watch the people reacting to it. That's my favorite. Especially when people are like, oh, come on, ref. I'm like, they can't hear you through the television. Like, I just make comments of that.
Right.
I remember, what was it? My favorite. So, the 2017 footballs. Wait, no, 16.
Which with...
It was the Atlanta Falcons versus
God.
That was one of my favorites. Because it set the precedent of what would happen. So...
Okay, so for people that don't know...
So you have these two teams. You have the Patriots, who a lot of people don't like because they tend to win a lot. And you have the Falcons, which no one was really rooting for, and they made it, and then... Everybody and their mother who didn't like the Patriots fans was just like beat them. This is my last year in college. I go to that event.
Did you? Oh, you went in person?
No. Oh yeah, I spent thousands of dollars. No, I had a Super Bowl party. I went there with my friends, and so I was like asking people like, oh, who are you rooting for? And everyone but like 3. Oh yeah, Falcons. And they were doing good. They were winning. Lady Gaga had her hilarious Super Bowl.
There's actually this sacred rule in video games where there's a sacred rule because I play a couple of sports games, but I don't play it often. The most you might see me play is like 2K, but I don't play Madden like that. I have a reason I don't play Madden. We won't talk about it. I'm scarred for life.
That's fair. Fun fact, I like playing Madden. I don't like football, but I play Madden. I think it's because, again, I'm being active in it. I think that's why.
But there's a sacred rule in Madden where it's called 21 off the stick. So if you score 3 touchdowns at any point in the game without the other person scoring a touchdown, especially in the beginning, it's primarily like personifies in the first set of the game. So if I score 21 points, the game's over. That's like the
it's the mercy rule.
It's our version of the mercy rule. You stop the game, you quit the game, 21 off the stick. If you're playing with a group of people, you pass the remote. 21 off the stick.
I got you. No, I get you.
So
the Falcons did really good. They were like 21-0 or 21 to like
20.
6.
They were no. It was 21. It was 21-0.
And this is the third quarter at this point.
Like it was the biggest. I think it was the biggest lead in Super Bowl history. I think.
So I at this point the halftime show was done.
Right.
There was fun games, like they did like a bingo like thing where it's like if you saw a fan with their shirt off, that's the bingo card and stuff like that. That was fun. They also did like guess the outcome and you'll win a prize.
Right.
It was really fun. And they also, but yeah, so they're in the third quarter. Everyone's invested. I'm bored. I go to sit with my friend, and he and I are he's taking Latin 4, I'm taking Latin 2, and I'm like, hey, all right, let's just talk about language. Because it's actually more interesting to me right now than it is. Let's talk about a literal dead language than watch the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden I hear like everyone what are you doing?
Yeah, everybody's freaking out.
Everyone's freaking out, and I'm like, I'm gonna go see what's up. I'm like, what's up? They're like, they're tied.
Right.
And I'm like, huh? They're like, they're tied. I'm like, weren't they? Yes. And I was like, oh.
And it's funny too because I was with my I was at home watching this, and you just see him just stroke. You just see Tom just like he's like no literally as I was telling my family, I'm like, this is so stupid. He's literally walking up the field.
So they're winning, and now they're tied, and I was like, interesting. And so I just keep watching. It ends. First time ever that there's a tie, so they have to go to sudden death, which is first person to score a point wins.
Yeah, so basically it's overtime, but in actuality it's the first person to score a touchdown wins.
Yeah. And so I was like, this is hilarious. Like, and I'm laughing at everyone getting pissed because they're like, no. And in overtime, Patriots won. And I was like, this is amazing. I love this. I loved everyone so confident that they were going to lose. And then like the peak of confidence and then just the pride downfall. And you know what's really funny is that set the precedent for the entire year. You then get to the Oscars, which had the infamous, when it goes to La La Land, oh, we mean Moonlight. This, like where they get that one wrong. So it's like, again, this peak and then failure. And then, of course, the presidential election, which... Hey, no, it's okay.
No!
But, like, as an independent who personally didn't want either candidate to win, okay, it's okay. I thought that was funny that it was like, oh, wow! There's a lot of people I knew who wanted this outcome, and they got the exact opposite. And that happened 3 times. I was like, man, 2017, this is hilarious. So yes, I will go to a Super Bowl party and watch that any day. I was just literally it'd be like, no, and I'm like, this is great. So yeah, that was fun. And then I think there was a funny commercial probably somewhere. That was not what I remembered.
Oh, listen, hey, Dorito. Hey, do you remember that arc? Do you remember that arc of Dorito commercials?
Oh, it was so weird.
Listen, those three.
They're not as unique anymore. I feel like they're just doing. I remember one where it was a pregnant lady getting an ultrasound and the husband's eating Doritos, and then you see the baby like, huh, her, and it was like, I was like, what the hell?
Well,
what's funny is
my favorite one is the
what's funny? The pro-abortion people were pissed at that because they were like, oh, you're implying that a pregnant baby has life or something. They were like, how dare you take a stance on this? And I'm like, I thought it was just a funny joke.
Oh, right. My favorite one is the Birds of Prey one.
What was that?
It's like this dude's eating Doritos, and this guy comes over right next to him. He's like, hey, what you doing, man? He's like, look at the guy, and then the dude's acting like a little pigeon, but for Doritos. Right? And he's like, hey, watch this. And he puts they're in a mirror. They're like in a dark room, and he puts it up to the window, and the dude lunges at it, and it crashes it.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh! And then another one's like the one with the dude's in the gym. He's like, don't touch my Doritos, and the dude touched the Doritos. Next thing you know, the dude comes back and in like a armor full, like a samurai.
Oh yeah, the samurai.
He's like, what?
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness. All right, but I think.
So I know we were talking about esports, but now we're just talking about sports. This will be the wow. I did not think we'd get to sports on the third podcast. Hey, you know what?
Well, I mean, I feel like we've satisfied the.
I mean, is there anything we can get to the bowl of random topics in a second? Is there any other sport like thing you want to talk about? No. So I mean, overall, is it a good thing?
Esports overall, I would say
sports.
Esport. It just depends. Like I feel like, and it just feels like, and to me personally, I feel like that there has to be passion in it. Like the reason I like watching basketball so much, is specifically the Celtics, is because I feel like there's still passion left in them. Versus watching the Spurs, which I always make this joke to everybody, but the Spurs just looks like a bunch of like zombies, like slaves, like a bunch of zombie slaves, pretty much.
Zombie slaves.
Like they look like Popovich's zombie slaves, and I'm just like, what are you like? What are you doing?
Yeah, no, I guess.
And then football, I feel like football's. I guess the reason I've stopped watching football is because football. I feel like football's ever since the whole Colin Kaepernick situation. The football.
Oh my! It's political.
It feels like it literally.
No, that's the thing. That's why like Rihanna was saying like she wasn't going to take the Super Bowl halftime show position because of that, like the NFL being racist. And that, and then she was saying like the Maroon 5 is being racist too because they're performing halftime.
Well, no, I don't think it's that.
No, but I'm saying that's what unfortunately that is what it's come to, is that we're at that point.
Yeah, we've gotten to a point where I didn't think sports is one of those things that I thought would forever be like it's
neutral.
Forever, no, not even forever neutral. But at the same time, also forever untouchable. Like, you know those games that always have those neutral cities, and are forever untouchable. Like, no one, like, this is a city. This city is neutral. You come at this city, you get your ass wrecked.
I see what you're saying.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like sports was that place where it's like, this place is neutral. This place is sacred. You leave all your crap outside. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, not anymore, unfortunately. The us versus them mentality. Yeah. No, I get you. I mean, that's an unfortunate thing we're in right now in our culture, is just this whole divisive talk and how you can't have a different opinion of mine. But
it's really and it's stupid, and it's like I can't make the jokes that I want to make. Like,
which again, we're not taking an opinion either way.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, no, we're not.
The overall reaction to it is the issue we have.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not gonna. I'm pretty sure by our action earlier when we were talking about the whole topic of the year of 2017. The year of 2017. You can understand my views on things, but keep in mind I love everyone equally.
All right, we'll stop there.
Yeah, we'll stop there. Awkward stop. You need to.
So I think my biggest issue with sports. So like you're not liking that it's unfortunately becoming a political thing.
And
some of it is.
Some of it is, and then I feel like in other terms they become essentially a business. For example, this past like off season for basketball, there was a player, Kawhi Leonard, who wanted to leave the Spurs. Kawhi Leonard is essentially their star player in the Spurs. He was literally their flagship, and Kawhi literally didn't play that entire last season. Like Kawhi didn't play at all last season. Like he may have played like only a couple of games, but then he legit was just out. He was just done. He didn't even play like the finals or anything like that, and he made it clear that he wanted to be out. He wanted to get traded and stuff like that. He couldn't do a buyout because that wasn't in his contract, so he had to get traded, and he wanted to trade. He ended up getting traded to the Raptors for DeMar DeRozan, and DeMar DeRozan has made it very clear that Toronto is where he wants to be. Like Toronto is his home. He doesn't want to leave. This is where he wants to play basketball for literally the remainder of his career. And they traded him anyway.
Nice.
Even after they guaranteed him that he wasn't going to get traded, they traded him anyway.
Yep.
So I feel like not only has sports become political, and it's also moved towards the business aspect, and where we don't care.
No, I would even argue that because it's become political, that proves that it's going to a business aspect. Because the NFL is responding to the Colin Kaepernick situation like a business would. They're not saying They're not saying anything like that.
And I feel, and in my personal opinion, I feel like the Donald made it worse.
Sorry.
That's fine.
No.
I feel like in my personal opinion, the Donald made it worse.
Once
again, we're gonna say we're not. Well, yeah, I like to remain.
We're
like my.
I mean, no, this is a good point. We are always. I want to create a company, a studio where people can say whatever they want, as long as you're willing to hear whatever someone else wants.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm all.
So you're welcome to say that.
One of the things I like about myself, and I think one of the things that people like about me is that I'm very open.
Yeah.
I'm very open about what I think. I will put my.
Are you gonna make up your mind, dog?
No, it's not.
I think she left when you said Trump. I think that's what it was. She's like, oh, he's talking about Trump. Let me leave.
Right. But I'm very.
And then she's like, no, I want belly rubs.
I'm very open-minded about the things that and I'm always open to. I'm always open to criticism, and I'm open to other people's views as well.
Oh, you got a little bird in your face. I think that their response to it was more business-like than per se. And I think that's a lot of issue is that a lot of people right now, like the James Gunn situation, where it's like, oh, we responded this way with this person, we can't change it because that's a bad business model.
Right.
Like everyone's looking at things as a business perspective, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but I think the problem comes in when that means you value money rather than the people watching it.
Right.
And that's where this issue is coming.
Literally, I feel like we've literally moved from a society where we always look out for our fellow man, to now it's just like we don't care anymore. And honestly, it's just stupid to me because I'm the type of person, and my mom always gives me slack about it, but she's like, you're too trusting, you're too caring, and in a world that doesn't care,
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, right now we have there's a lot of lack of empathy, for sure. I would say so.
Definitely.
But I think what's happening with sports isn't necessarily bad for it. I don't think it's going to ruin it. I think it's just a reflection of our culture. Just like how a lot of art right now is, there's two models when it comes to art. There's the people who believe art influences culture and culture influences art. I believe in the latter, where a lot of artists want their art to influence people. I don't think that's the case. I think your art is a reflection of what's currently going on. And sure,
definitely.
it might state your opinion and that might change some people's minds, but it's not going to influence the culture.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening with sports and a lot of things is right now we are very divided. And we are very much in the mentality of we want people to agree with us, and so businesses are taking that exact same thing of as long as we don't offend, it's fine. And so they're going to get rid of people who are offensive, even if it was in the past or even if it's in a justifiable way.
Yeah.
And I think, and so like...
And for example, with James Gunn, it's like, yeah, you're not offensive now, but if we go back like 20 years ago...
Even though Disney already had that issue come up when he made the first Guardians movie, and they're like, we understand that's not who he is anymore. Like, they already addressed it, but then they had to change it because of the whole Roseanne Barr situation. That's just how we are right now. I think sports... I think at some point sports will go back to being more about entertainment. My biggest issue with sports is actually not that. I think it's the fact that people get hurt a lot, and like we don't necessarily talk about.
Well, no, I feel like we've got
gravest injuries.
No, I feel like people have gotten more sensitive.
Yeah, no, I mean like physically hurt.
Oh,
I mean like you got a tackle and now that guy has a concussion, but he doesn't realize it because he had a helmet.
Right.
That kind of a thing. I think like the physical injuries that we talk like that happen in a lot of sports are a big issue. I know some people are going to make the argument then, well, that if you soften it up, it gets rid of the point of the sport. I'm not one to say what the correct answer is. I think that like a lot of...
Well, I feel like in terms of this situation, there is no correct answer. We just
no, it's tough. Like, do you just allow... Because I think my bigger issue is that we push teens to do that stuff. And that means, like, you're getting, like, I know a guy, the pastor's son at my church, he's hurt his knee, like, once, and, like, if you tear your ACL once, it's so easy to break continuously.
Yeah.
And like,
and you turn into like it'll turn, and his ACL will turn into what I call the Derrick Rose phenomenon, where you get injured. Where once you have that very serious injury one time, you just keep on having a current serious injuries until you're no longer the same person you were before. Which brings it to a segue for all my basketball fans. I'm super hyped that bitch Derrick Rose is coming back. My boy has literally risen from the ashes, from being belittled as a player to becoming the literal god that he is, and I know he is.
I liked when the Looney Tunes played with Michael Jordan. Hey, you can't tell me you didn't like Space Jam as bad.
I did love
as bad of a movie as that
I
is.
did love Space Jam, but dude, that comment just warrants me to leave.
But yeah, no, I think injuries are a huge thing.
Yeah,
I mean, like, that's how it is. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's a good point. You want to end on a... Alright, is there anything else you want to say, and then we can end on the bowl of random topics? I think
that's literally, I've gotten literally off my chest why we started this with esports, and then we moved to regular sports, and then we moved to politics.
Esports is nice because it's not going to hurt anybody. I mean, unless someone takes something too seriously, like, that loss. That's the only time.
Yeah.
Unless it gets, like, what is it? Fighting gets physical, man. Like, what is it with, like, McGregor, like, physically attacking people before fights? Like, that's insane. But I think esports is fine in that department. So, like,
I mean, I feel like no one can touch I feel like the gaming community as a whole is so, and I hate to say this, but the gaming community as a whole is so toxic.
Hey guys, Future Frank here. So unfortunately our camera decided to cut out on us again. As you know, we're still learning this process, and we hope that you'll still stick around with us. Don't worry, we will keep that random topic for another day. Until then, we hope that you enjoyed this video. Feel free to share it with whoever you want, like, comment, all of that stuff that YouTube tells us that we have to tell you. We'll be back here next week with another podcast as usual. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching the Blue Eclipse podcast, and we appreciate you.